Hey kids, Kamau and Selena here, and we're lying in bed looking up flights for New Year's. And we decided it'd be the perfect time to show you how we find all these amazing flights to all these amazing places at such a great price.
So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is actually put it in incognito before you start looking for flights, because then you'll get better deals.
And since we don't know where we're going to type in everywhere as our destination. And I have to work this week, so we're going to leave on the 28th, and we're looking for a later flight so I can leave at my usual time of 3 o'clock and still make it to the airport on time. We're also going to make sure that we preset it to 2 people so that we don't have to double back to get a deal for the both of us.
Yeah, because that's happened to us before. So the first places they're going to put up for us is in the USA, of course, because they're the cheapest to fly from New York. But a lot of these places we've gone to, especially this year, and we also don't want to spend $400 to $500 for this trip because it is pretty short, and we might be able to get a better selection.
Next, we're going to look at Canada. We've already been to Canada twice this year, but it looks like this is kind of costly as well. Montreal is a little bit north of us, and we paid around the same amount to go across the country. So that leaves Iceland and Ireland.
For the same price.
For the same price. We're going to look up Iceland rather. And
so now it looks for all the cheapest flights for Iceland, and basically what we're going to look for in this list is the correct time, departure, and arrival that suits our needs.
So this top flight for 413 seems to check all the boxes. We leave at 7 o'clock at night, which gives us plenty of time to get to the airport. We arrive at 6 in the morning, so we get to start our day once we get there. And when we're leaving, thanks to time zones, we leave at 5 p.m. and arrive home at 6 p.m. So it's like we spend the whole day in Iceland and we still have the whole night when we get home. And for 413 to go to Iceland is actually not that bad considering the time of year and the destination. So this might be the flight that we'll take for New Year's. But first, we're going to need to double check to make sure that this is actually the best deal.
And the other most appealing part is that it's not only a New York flight, but it's actually a New Jersey flight, and we get to leave from Newark, which is actually easier for us to get to because we can use public transportation.
Right. Next, we're going to use Mymundo. This is actually one of my top favorite search engines to use because you don't need the incognito tab. And now that we know our destination, you're not going to type in everywhere. Mymundo has an everywhere feature as well. It's just not as user-friendly as the Skyscanner one is. So we usually start with Skyscanner and then make our way to Mymundo when we don't know where we want to go. But we do. In this case, we're going to go to Reykjavik in Iceland. So I'm just going to put that in.
Select all airports, because why not?
We're going to make sure we put the appropriate dates. It looks like we already have 2 people there, so we don't have to worry about that.
And search. So Mymundo is going to search different platforms to get us the best deal. Some similar to Skyscanner, but the prices can be different still.
It's always good to get a second opinion on flights.
Always. Even if you're using like a travel agent, I feel like you would have to get a second opinion.
Yeah.
So while it's loading, let us tell you a little bit about the top up here. So we're leaving on a Friday and coming back on a Tuesday, which surprisingly seems like they're the cheaper days out of the selection here. And this part just tells you what the trends are and are going to be. And
Right.
it looks like not a lot of people are going here on that Friday. and coming back on that Tuesday on New Year's Day. So it might be that some people are coming back the day after because, everyone parties hard New Year's Eve and then they come back um, the day after New Year's so that they can recover. But we don't really have a problem with that.
No, and um, it looks like we have the lowest price within the range, but as you can see, it's a little bit more expensive than what we just saw on Skyscanner. So we won't be getting the deal through Mymundo this round, but it's still very good to check because as you can see, the same flight popped up. So this is almost definitely going to be the flight that we take, since again, it checks off all the boxes for what we need for the trip.
Yeah. And another tip is New Year's Day and other holidays. It's actually really good to fly on the holiday itself, but you have to make sure that the time it doesn't like if you're trying to make it home for Thanksgiving dinner, then the flight to get you home for Thanksgiving dinner is gonna still be more price. It's gonna be pricier, but just keep in mind sometimes you can get a cheaper flight if you fly on the actual holiday. So then we go into tracking our flight. So tracking, since we know all the information, we know for sure this is a cheap flight, we're going to track this flight. And so we'll put all the information in Google Flights. Google also emails you as much as you want every day, every week, when there's alerts and changes to the flights you're tracking. It's pretty awesome.
And as you can see on the calendar, it's got different colored amounts for different days. Green is obviously the cheaper, black is like your regular or higher price. But we're ignoring that for now because we know specifically where we want to go and what flight that we want. And we just want to track it for the time being, all the flights on this time period and the specific flight that we have, so that if and when the price goes down, we can jump on it immediately. We also want to emphasize the fact that we're looking at this flight 6 months ahead of time. And the biggest advantage you can have to finding cheaper flights is patience, which is why we're plotting it out now ahead of time.
So the flight actually ends up being about $429 for each of us. So we're going to track it, and that's the button right there to track. And then if you want to look at your tracked prices, you look over here and it'll show you all the flights that you're tracking or destinations. And here it gives you a little price chart, which is pretty awesome and probably my favorite thing to stare at. So I can see the trends, and we're doing this for another destination and specific flight. And you really just need to be patient because it can really get you the best price. Another way to track is Hopper, which you can only do by mobile or mobile, depending on what region you're from. And again, we know exactly what we're looking for, and it doesn't do specific flights, but it gives you the trends and the prices for the days that you select. And as you can see, they're color coded to tell you the price range of the days that you're selecting. Run, buddy, run! So Hopper tells us that it's a little bit more to fly than the price that we found in Mymundo and Skyscanner. But let's see if it has our flight, which it does. And it's a little bit pricier, but it will tell us when we should buy and if maybe there's another flight cheaper for those dates, which we could be open to. So, but the fact that the flight that we're looking at is listed is a good sign. And so we're gonna watch it, and it's gonna give us alerts when there's newer flights or drop-in flights, all that stuff.
Oh, and for those curious, this works on iPhone and Android.
So that's how. Oops, I'm not even looking, and I just told him to look. So that's how we find our destinations, and then find flights, and then track flights. These are the tools that we use, and we hope that you do too.
And the number one secret that we're going to give away, because we know you're not going to listen, the best way to find cheap flights is patience.
Absolutely.
For the family and friends who should be watching our videos anyway, who want to know how we find the cheap flights and we can travel all the time, we're going to refer you to this video.
Yes, because we've been getting a lot of these questions for the past few months and probably a little over a year now.
Yeah.
And it's helped us a lot. So we hope that it also helps you. And if you have more questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. And if you like this video, what should they do, Kamal?
Thumbs up!
Yes. And so if you want to speak with us off YouTube, you can also check out our Instagram and Twitter. We do more on Instagram, more fun stuff, photos, videos. And Twitter, we also share a lot of deals. So check out our Twitter for deals that we share from other accounts on the web. I feel like I said Twitter a lot.
So don't forget to subscribe. And the next time you see us, we will be in California.
Cali.
So we hope to see you there. And until then, we'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.